I've recommended the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 for years now, and I feel like if you followed me for any amount of time, you would have seen how much I love this camera. If you're new here, let me tell you, I filmed hundreds of videos on it, I've traveled the world with it, built my whole little filming system around it, and honestly, a pretty big part of my content came from me showing people how to use their Pocket 3s. I've tested so many cameras before the Pocket 3, and I've tested so many since then. The Pocket 3 is still one of my top ones. I mean, I'm literally filming my YouTube video with the Pocket 3 right now. And recently, Insta360 sent me the Luna Ultra. This video is not sponsored, they've not paid me to make this comparison, and they're not telling me what to say. These are just my genuine thoughts about two really great cameras. I've had the Luna Ultra for about a month now. I've been getting to know it, I've brought it to parks, filmed in cars, I bought a magnet mount for it, and an ND filter. I basically wanted to get to a point where I had my own setup for this camera and knew how I like to use it. And now that I've gotten more of a hang of it, I feel like I can properly compare it to the Pocket 3. Look, I know DJI has newer pocket cameras now like the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 and the 4P, and technically the 4P is more comparable to the Luna Ultra, but I don't really want this video to be about which brand has the newest, bestest camera. I'm thinking more about the person who already owns a Pocket 3, and there's a lot of us out there, approximately 10 million, which is honestly insane. So if you currently own the Pocket 3, you've bought all your accessories for it, and you've built your setup around it, do you actually need the upgrade? And what would it look like if you were to swap from a DJI camera to an Insta360 camera? Would you have to swap around your entire ecosystem? How does it look like? I feel like those questions are more interesting. Look, I'm not going into this comparison thinking that the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is old and therefore the Luna Ultra automatically wins, because I'm still a massive fan of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I think it's still a great camera. I know exactly how this camera works. I love my setup for it. I know where everything goes, and basically I have my whole little ecosystem built around it. I have quick releases on my Magic Arm, quick releases on my tripod. I know which accessories work with it, and I know how quickly I can set everything up, which is also why I use it to film my YouTube videos. Look, for me, it's quite important for my cameras to fit seamlessly into my workflow because I don't want to waste tons of time thinking about how I'm going to set everything up each time I want to film. It needs to be as friction-free as possible. I want to know where everything is, put it together, and start creating. So a new camera actually has to do quite a lot for me to want to add it into my workflow. The Pocket 3 is already doing most of what I need it to do, so I think the question is, how does the Luna Ultra fit into my workflow? First up, let me show you my Pocket 3 setup. Here I have this cage which I originally bought so that I could mount a Pocket 3 on top of my main camera to get some POV photography. Then I bought a 1/4-inch magnet mount and I screwed it into the back of this cage. And this magnet mount changed my life. I honestly have so much fun filming with it. And on the bottom I have the mini tripod from Ulanzi. So my Pocket 3 has little feet. I'm not sure why the bottom of the Pocket 3 is round, can't stand on its own, therefore it's nice to have this extra stability. Then I have this hard cover that protects the gimbal and the screen. It makes it much easier for me to throw it in bags or in my pocket and not have to worry about damaging the gimbal or the screen. And that's basically the whole thing. I've loved this setup for years and it has served me very well. Now for the Luna Ultra. It comes with its own hardcover, and this is obviously a lot better than the current one I have on my Pocket 3. But obviously the one I have on my Pocket 3 isn't made by DJI. But even compared to the original DJI cover that the Pocket 3 came in, I prefer the cover on the Luna Ultra because you're not tugging at the screen when you're pulling the camera out. This just pops open and you get like a nice presentation of the camera. The Luna Ultra also comes with its own little feet. But between this and the one from Ulanzi, I prefer the one from Ulanzi because these little feet feel like paper clips. I just don't really trust them. Also, it takes me too long to pull them out individually. I just want the camera to be able to stand when I put it down. But it doesn't really matter anymore because I have the magnet mount, and this was one of the things that made me enjoy using this camera so much more. Let me show you. You can fold it out into a tripod. It stands really sturdy, and it can give the camera a little bit more height if you need it as well. You can also open up the legs, and there's this little hook there that you can hook onto ledges and railings. How cool is that? It also has a magnet strip at the back, which is why I got it in the first place. So once I got this mount, I felt like I could mount the Luna Ultra onto different surfaces and different angles, and I could just get more creative with it. And if you're interested in this type of mount for your Pocket 3, Ulanzi actually makes a similar mount. It's called the MA66, I believe. And they also have a larger version for the Luna Ultra called the MA66L. I think it's only available in Japan because it's a new release. I'm not too sure about that. But I bought mine directly from Insta360. It goes out of stock pretty quick, so if you see it, do grab it real quick. I'll link that down below if you're interested. So these are the cameras side by side. Obviously, the Pocket 3 is a smaller, lighter camera. Although the thing with mine is that I have this metal cage on it, and it actually makes it significantly heavier. So when I'm comparing my Pocket 3 setup with how I'm carrying it day to day versus the Luna Ultra with how I'm carrying that day to day, the weight of both actually feel quite similar. If you strip everything off and just compare the cameras themselves, then yes, the Luna Ultra is significantly bigger. It has a larger gimbal because obviously the Luna Ultra has 2 lenses. You get up to 5 different focal lengths and up to 6 times lossless zoom, whereas on the Pocket 3 you're working with 1 lens and then cropping in digitally. This was actually something I felt was missing from the Pocket 3 even from the start. I do notice a difference when I'm filming because sometimes I just want to get something that's further away, or I just want a tighter looking shot without having to physically walk towards it, and now with the Luna Ultra I can do just that. Is that a deal breaker though? Now, the downside of having 2 lenses and a larger gimbal is that I think the Luna Ultra attracts more attention. Nobody really notices the Pocket 3 when I'm filming out and about. It's just so small and discreet that people just don't seem to care. Or maybe they don't register that it's a camera. Whereas with the Luna Ultra, I definitely have noticed people turning their heads more. So if you're shy filming in public, that's definitely one thing to think about. Then there's the actual lens setup. The Luna Ultra can do really cool macro shots, and their lenses are engineered with Leica. I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know what that means beyond the fact that Leica makes really cool cameras, but from actually looking at the footage, I wouldn't say the Luna Ultra blows the Pocket 3 out of the water. They both look really good. What I do like about the larger surface area is that the ND filters are larger as well. I feel like having ND filters in my Pocket 3 were always hit or miss because they would fall off so easily. I've lost a few already. Whereas on the Luna, you feel like the magnet's really strong holding it there. So that's something small I appreciate. Or something big. The buttons are different as well. You have way more buttons on the Luna Ultra, but obviously I'm much more used to the Pocket 3 because I've been using it for a few years. So I'm always missing the mark when I'm trying to hit record, but it's not that big of a deal. One thing I really miss though is that I like to record vertical when my screen is vertical and horizontal when my screen is horizontal. And on the Pocket 3, if you're recording in horizontal and you flick the screen to close it, it actually counts down and turns the camera off. Whereas on the Luna Ultra, it just swaps it to vertical, and then I have to hold on the record button to turn it off. And I feel like there's a little bit of friction there. The Luna Ultra has these 2 buttons on the screen. They're customizable, but as tons of people have mentioned, we're hoping that Insta360 comes out with a firmware update so that we could customize it a little bit more. Right now, I'm not sure what my left side does, but my right side basically recenters the camera. Then obviously there's the detachable screen on the Luna Ultra, which in my opinion is the game changer of the entire camera. You can physically take this thing off, switch the camera on and off from afar, refocus yourself, or even tap to start tracking, and you can see yourself the entire time. I didn't realize how much that would change the way I would use the camera. I mean, with the Pocket 3, obviously it has a gimbal and it does track you well too, but somehow I think I've forgotten that it's a gimbal camera. With the Luna Ultra, because of the screen, I would actually set it down, move away from the camera, and so I think I use the gimbal more. I mean, it's just so useful. I can see if it's still tracking me, I can see whether I've gone out of frame, I can readjust myself in frame. I basically have control over everything rather than just hoping that it turns out fine. And guess what? The screen is a microphone. That is crazy. This means if I'm going out and I want the minimum setup possible, I can literally just bring my camera in its case and I don't need to bring an extra screen or an extra mic. Like, this is the entire setup. Now, obviously, none of these features matter if the footage doesn't actually look good. So I wanted to put both cameras next to each other and test the things I would realistically use them for. Here's some examples. think the main thing I was focusing on while putting all this footage together is whether I feel like the Luna Ultra has significantly better footage, or whether the biggest difference is that it just gives me more ways of getting the shot. Because so far from everything I've filmed, I don't look back at my Pocket 3 footage and suddenly think that it looks old. It still looks really good. Okay, so maybe you want the Insta360 Luna Ultra, but what would it be like switching from DJI to Insta360? Now I know this is something people worry about because I see you guys talking about having the whole DJI ecosystem already. And as someone who has multiple DJI cameras and multiple mics, I get it. I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, DJI Osmo Nano, the DJI Mic 2 that came with the Pocket 3, and the DJI Mic Minis. So obviously all of that work together. And I've also built up all my accessories to work with these tools. And I have the DJI Mimo app to download all the videos. And everything just feels familiar. But honestly, I don't think moving over to an Insta360 camera is that big of a deal. Before the Luna Ultra, I actually have the Insta360 X4, which is a 360 camera. I also have the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. And what I found from using those cameras is that you just need the Insta360 app. Which actually brings me to DJI Mimo app versus Insta360 app. I'm happy to report that both of them are equally as stable when transferring videos, which I'm very grateful for because I think I tested the Insta360 app maybe 3 years ago now, and this was during the time of the Insta360 Go 3. I had a few issues with that camera, so it could be just the camera issue, but I had the app crash on me when I was transferring videos. However, now with the Insta360 Luna Ultra, I've not had that issue happen just yet, so my hopes are high. So while both apps are pretty similar, I mean, I don't really edit on those apps. I just select my footage and offload them into my phone or my computer. But the main thing I prefer about the DJI Mimo app is the batch select feature. I use this all the time because I'm batch filming for each session. So for example, right now I'm filming my YouTube video, and if I go in the app, I can see everything I've filmed in this one session. So if I tap batch select, it just selects all the clips from this session. So it genuinely saves me quite a bit of time. Whereas on the Insta360 app, I find that the footage feels a little bit more clumped together, and I don't find the selection process as quick as on the DJI app. So that's one thing I definitely miss. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just something I've noticed because I'm constantly switching between both apps. Also, when I'm working on a larger project and I need to offload everything onto my computer, it doesn't really matter because I don't use the apps. I just connect the cameras directly to my computer with a C2C cable. So if I'm using that workflow, it basically makes no difference. Then if you get the creator bundle for both the cameras, you get their dedicated mic. With the Pocket 3, I got the DJI Mic 2, and with the Luna Ultra, I get the Mic Pro. But keep in mind that the detachable screen on the Luna Ultra already has a mic, so even if you don't get the creator bundle with the Insta360 Luna Ultra, you will still have a mic. But with both these mics that come with the cameras, I found them both very easy to use. So currently I'm using the DJI Mic 2. But even with the Insta360 Mic Pro, they're both very quick to connect to their cameras. I haven't had any issues pairing them. They both sound good to me, and they both have 32-bit float. I'm not gonna get too technical. They're just both good, alright? Personally though, I think the Mic Pro for the Luna Ultra gets an extra point because I can put my face on the microphone. I also wanted to type in "It's Jace" as well as a tag, but apparently I need one more extra character, which means I can't do that. I've also noticed that microphones are getting smaller and smaller now. And weirdly, I actually like having a slightly larger mic. I'm not sure why. I feel like it's just nice to hold something. I mean, I literally have my microphone on a spatula. But look, even if I'm holding it like that, I just feel like there's something more to hold, you know? But overall, moving between ecosystems hasn't bothered me that much. I definitely wouldn't let the fact that you already own a DJI product be the one thing that stops you from considering another camera. Because in the day-to-day use, I found it pretty easy to go between both. So after all of that, if you own the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, would you consider upgrading to the Insta360 Luna Ultra? I think the answer depends on what you feel like you're missing from your Pocket 3 right now. Because if you're using it and you're happy with the footage, you're happy with the workflow and the setup you've built around your camera, and you don't really feel like you're limited by anything I've mentioned in this video, then I don't think you need to upgrade just because another camera has come out. The Pocket 3 is still really good and I'm still using mine all the time. Again, I'm literally filming my entire video on this. I think sometimes when newer cameras come out, we start looking at the camera we already own differently. Even though nothing about it has actually changed, if it was working for you before the Luna Ultra, it's still going to work for you now. Where I think the Luna Ultra starts to make more sense is if the things it does differently are the things you've already been wishing your Pocket 3 could do. For me, the extra focal length is a big one, because I felt like the Pocket 3 was missing that even before any of these new cameras came out. I really like having the zoom and the macro, and then I genuinely think that the detachable screen changes the game. It changes how I film myself and how I interact with the camera, and actually use the tracking feature rather than just standing in frame. And then again, having the microphone built into the screen means I can have a really stripped back setup if I want to, which is something I appreciate more and more now, because I don't really want to carry loads of gear around. So I think if you're somebody who films yourself alone a lot and you want more variation in your footage in just one tiny package, then I can see the Insta360 Luna Ultra being an actual upgrade. Personally, if I was starting completely from scratch today, and I didn't already have years of accessories built up for my Pocket 3 or muscle memory around it, I think I would just lean towards the Insta360 Luna Ultra, because I really like the extra flexibility, and the detachable screen works really well for the way I want to film. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway after testing both these cameras. The Luna Ultra hasn't made me think that the Pocket 3 isn't good anymore. It's just shown me a few things I wish my Pocket 3 could do. So if you already own the Pocket 3 and you were thinking of getting an upgrade, let me know what you think now. Will you go for it, or will you stick to what you have? Is there anything on the Luna Ultra that is making you want to upgrade? Or are you keeping your Pocket 3 until it dies? Let me know your thoughts. And if you want me to do a proper deep dive into either one of these cameras, whether that's how I use my Luna Ultra setup, more filming tests, or just more ways to get different shots out of them, let me know down below, because I can definitely do that. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and the like button. It really helps this channel out. And yeah, just leave your thoughts down below. And with that, remember that you don't have to be perfect to start. I'll see you in the next one.